Imagine the following for a moment. You live in a country where the laws change radically according to the weather. In winter, you live under a strict hierarchy and obey a leader. But as soon as summer arrives, that leader loses their power, society disperses, and everyone becomes completely egalitarian. And the next year, the cycle repeats. This seems crazy to us because today we believe that society is something fixed. If you live in a democracy, it's a democracy in January and in August. But what if I told you that most of human history wasn't like this? What if the true freedom of our ancestors wasn't about building great palaces, but the ability to change the rules of the game whenever they felt like it? Did you know that winter and summer could change the politics of an entire society? Anthropologist Cecilia Padilla Iglesias analyzes this in a recent article in Sapiens magazine. To understand this, we first need to demolish a myth. In school, we were taught history as if it were a staircase of progress. At the very bottom are hunter-gatherers living in small and supposedly simple bands. Then we discover agriculture and level up. We become sedentary, complex, and create states. This view assumes that our nomadic ancestors didn't have complex politics because they were too busy surviving. But current research tells us this is false. Ancient societies weren't simple, they were incredibly flexible. And the best proof isn't just in bones from thousands of years ago, but in groups living today, like the Mbendjele BaYaka in the rainforests of the Congo. Thanks to Padilla Iglesias' fieldwork, we know that these groups completely dismantle our idea of what it means to be a primitive society. To see this in action, let's travel to the forests of Northern Republic of Congo. Here live the Mbendjele BaYaka, a group of hunter-gatherers with whom the article's author has lived and conducted research. At first glance, we might think their life is always the same, searching for food and surviving. But if you observe them for an entire year, you'll see that they actually live in two different societies. First, let's look at the dry season. During these months, food is abundant in certain areas. What do the BaYaka do? They come together. They build large, dense camps where many families live together. But it's not just that they live together. They change their behavior. It's the time of social intensity. They spend day and night singing, performing massive rituals to connect with the forest spirits, and resolving conflicts as a group. It's a phase of public, loud, and collective life. But then the rains come, the forest floods, and resources change. Now they have to search for honey and wild yams, which are widely scattered. So BaYaka society dissolves. The large camps break apart and split into small family groups that disperse throughout the jungle. The grand political life and massive rituals disappear. They go from being a large interconnected community to small, autonomous, and silent units. Here's the anthropological key. It's not just that they move house. This alternation prevents fixed hierarchies from being established. If someone tried to accumulate a lot of power during the dry season, it would be useless, because as soon as the rains come, everyone goes their separate ways, and the leader loses control. The wet season acts as a reset button against tyranny. And be careful, because what the BaYaka do isn't an African oddity. In fact, the founding fathers of anthropology noticed this 100 years ago, although they didn't see the political importance it held. The most famous example is the Inuit of the Arctic. At the beginning of the 20th century, sociologist Marcel Mauss noticed something incredible. The Inuit had two opposing social structures. In winter, they all lived together in large communal houses. They shared food, property was collective, and life revolved around intense religious ceremonies. They were, basically, communists. But in summer, society broke apart. Families dispersed to hunt, property became private, and everyone looked out for themselves. They became individualists. Mauss called this dual social morphology. But the most extreme case occurred on the coast of Canada, with the peoples of the northwest coast, like the Kwakiutl. According to the authors cited in the article Graeber and Wengrow in The Dawn of Everything, based on the fieldwork of anthropologist Franz Boas with the Kwakiutl, these peoples took the transformation to the limit. In summer, they were relaxed and egalitarian bands of fishermen. But in winter, society became fiercely aristocratic, with nobles, commoners, and slaves. The nobles flaunted titles and privileges that they defended through brutal feasts called potlatch. They even had a ritual police, members of secret societies like the Hamatsa Society, who enforced the rules during rituals, often in dramatic and violent ways. The nobles stopped ruling in summer because the structure that sustained their rule, the communal house, the rituals, the masked police, was physically dismantled. People got into their canoes and went miles away. Without subjects nearby, there is no king. This ability to escape from hierarchy is what prevented the nobles from becoming permanent dictators. This proves something powerful. Our ancestors knew how to build hierarchies. They knew how to have kings and police. But they were smart enough to dismantle them every year so that no one accumulated too much power. So if humanity spent thousands of years alternating between freedom and hierarchy, between being nomads and sedentary, between being communists and kings, why can't we ever do it? The question that anthropologists David Graeber and David Wengrow raise, and that resonates in Padilla Iglesias' article, isn't what is the origin of inequality, but rather, how did we get stuck? The answer is given to us by the BaYaka themselves today. The article explains that when they are forced to settle permanently, due to logging or government pressure, they lose their power. By becoming forcibly sedentary, they can no longer disperse to resolve conflicts. Hierarchy becomes fixed. Inequality, which used to be temporary, becomes permanent. The trap was forgetting that power structures should have an expiration date. Perhaps the only thing left from that flexible past is our vacations, or festivals like Christmas or Carnival. Brief moments where the rules of work are suspended, we eat together and play at living differently. But they're just parentheses. The lesson that the BaYaka and this Sapiens article leave us is profound. The society we live in isn't the only one possible. It's not the final and inevitable result of evolution. It's just one option in which we got trapped long ago. Our ancestors knew that to be truly free, sometimes you have to dismantle the whole world and put it back together when the wind changes.